Good morning. I am R. Pranti of class 9 standard A section. For my storytelling competition, I have chosen the topic Life History of my favorite scientist. Science or advancement in technology would be nothing if they weren't great scientists who sacrificed their life for a better world. I was greatly inspired by the only female scientist with 2 Nobel Prizes who sacrificed her life, which was in no vain, and her invention has helped treat many cancer patients around the world. Maria Salomia Skłodowska, also known as Marie Curie, was born on November 7, 1867 in Warsaw, Poland. Her parents were both educated. Her father taught physics and mathematics while her mother ran a girls' school. She had 3 older sisters and an older brother. Unfortunately, one of her sisters and her mother died when she was at the age of 10. Maria was an intelligent girl who graduated from school at the age of 15 with a gold medal. She wanted to pursue her higher studies and join a good university. As women's education was not possible in those days, no university in Warsaw took Maria. She and her sister Bronislava finally joined a secret unofficial night school that would allow women to join. However, the school was not able to quench her thirst for knowledge. So Maria and her sister made a plan in which Bronislava would first study and become a doctor and help Maria study next. She had spent so many years studying on her own and she knew that she wanted to become a scientist. Maria's primary difficulty was that the unofficial study had not prepared her for university courses. As she was studying in a French university, all the courses were taught in French, which Maria was unable to cope up. Determined to do well, Maria studied during the day and worked as a tutor during the night to earn money. But this was not even enough for her to buy proper food. Despite her hardships, Maria earned her first degree in physics in the year 1893, graduating as a top student in her course, and earned her second degree in chemistry in the year 1894. While looking for a laboratory space to work, Maria met Pierre Curie, who was also a scientist. He had a small laboratory which he was willing to share with Maria. Working together, they fell in love and got married in the year 1895, after which she was known Madame Marie Curie. She decided to pursue her PhD and was awarded doctorate in science. She was still determined to do more. For her topic of research, she studied about uranium and found that uranium rays could even travel through metal. She coined the term radioactive for elements that produced these rays. After some deep research, Maria, along with Pierre, discovered 2 radioactive elements which was more radioactive than uranium, named polonium, derived from Marie's motherland, Poland, and radium, a Latin word that meant ray. For their research about uranium, their couple got Nobel Prize in physics, and Maria received her second Nobel Prize in chemistry for her discoveries of radium and polonium. When everything was going well, Pierre died due to an accident. After her husband's loss, Mary decided to build a research center in memory of her husband in Paris and denied her position offered in Warsaw. She continued her research till World War I and created mobile X-ray trucks to help surgeons treat wounded soldiers. After contributing so much to science, Mary died on July 4, 1934 due to a disease called leukemia. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Mayuri Singh from class 9A and this is my video on Navratri storytelling competition. So my topic is life history of my favorite scientist. My favorite scientist is Galileo Galilei and I am going to talk about him. Galileo di Vincenzo Buonarroti di Galilei, commonly known as Galileo Galilei, was an Italian astronomer, physicist and engineer. He contributed towards establishing the fields of physics, mathematics and astronomy. Therefore, he was labeled as the father of modern science and modern astronomy. Born on February 15, 1564 in Pisa in Italy, Galileo was the oldest son of Vincenzo Galilei, a musician and wool trader of that period. He was raised in Pisa along with his brothers and sisters during the Italian Renaissance, till his family moved to Florence in 1574. For a few years, he attended the Camaldolese Monastery School at Vallombrosa and was later sent to the University of Pisa to study medicine in 1580. But since he was more interested in mathematics, he returned back after 4 years without any doctor's degree. With no choice left, he started tutoring mathematics to earn a living. Greatly inspired by ancient Greek mathematicians and philosophers, Galileo, at the age of 22, published his first book, The Little Balance, which was his work on the design of hydrostatic balance. The book included his discoveries in the extension of work done by Archimedes. Instantly became famous after publishing his own book. He was invited to join the University of Pisa as a math professor in 1589. After his father's death in 1591, he was given responsibility of his younger brother Michelangelo, but due to some clash with his colleagues, he moved to University of Padua near Venice in 1592. There, he continued teaching geometry, astronomy, and mechanics until 1610. During this time, he contributed to both fundamental and practical applied science. His several interests also included the studies of astrology, mathematics, and astronomy. Galileo was very much interested in the fields of astronomy. Using his refracting telescope, he had observed and made discoveries about various celestial bodies, such as the Moon, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and Neptune. Some of these observations provided the proof of heliocentrism. He also made studies of sunspots, the Milky Way, and the stars. He observed the 1572 supernova, the less bright nova of 1601, and Kepler's supernova in 1604, and finally concluded that they were distinct stars. He thus disapproved of the belief in the immutability of the heavens. In 1609, he invented a telescope, which is now commonly known as a terrestrial telescope or a spyglass. In March 1610, he launched his first telescopic astronomical observations in a book entitled Sidereus Nuncius. By aiming his telescope at the moon on 13 November 1609, he became the first to deduce the cause of craters and estimate the heights of the lunar mountains. In January 1610, Galileo observed with his telescope and discovered the four largest moons of Jupiter. His observations of the satellites of Jupiter caused controversy in astronomy. This was because these observations did not conform to the principles of Aristotelian cosmology, according to which all heavenly bodies circle the earth. Many astronomers and philosophers initially refused to believe this discovery, but however, it was later proved by the other astronomers. In 1619, Galileo got into a controversy with the professor of mathematics, Father Orazio Grassi, over the nature of comets. When Galileo had published his book, The Assayer, in 1623, it became an even wider controversy over the nature of science as a whole. It all had started since the publishing of Father Grassi's anonymous pamphlet earlier in 1619. A Florentine lawyer named Mario Guiducci, one of Galileo's disciples, had criticized Grassi's article. The Assayer was Galileo's devastating reply to the astronomical balance by Father Grassi. Galileo's contribution in the field of physics had a great effect on the world. He discovered the laws of free fall, projectile motion, and the concepts of inertia. The theoretical and experimental works developed by Galileo was a key feature of the classical mechanics explained by Sir Isaac Newton. Galileo had conducted several experiments with pendulums, which were published under the title On Motion and Two New Sciences. He is also credited with being one of the first to understand sound frequency. In 1638, Galileo described a method to measure the speed of light. However, the speed of light is now considered to be far too fast to be measured by such method. In his book of 1638, Two New Sciences, Galileo's spokesman named Salviati said that all unequal weights would fall with the same finite speed in a vacuum. Also, Galileo proposed that a falling body would fall with a uniform acceleration until the resistance of the surrounding medium remained negligible. This concept of inertia described by Galileo is closely related to his Copernican conviction. Galileo never married but had 3 children with a woman named Maria Gamba. His two daughters both entered the convent, and his son lived with him after his mother married. He began having health issues after being placed under home arrest. In 1634, he suffered a hernia and lost his eyesight in 1637. He became seriously ill in 1638 and finally in 1642 breathed his last. He made many accomplishments throughout his life, including his discoveries in astronomy and physics. He was a renowned professor, philosopher, and mathematician to the Grand Duke of Tuscany. He also introduced the scientific methods of experimentation, which revolutionized human knowledge and understanding of the world and universe. His theories and discoveries still tend to inspire many youngsters all across the world. He shall always be seen among the greatest scientists of the world who contributed towards making the universe so much easier to understand. Galileo Galilei rightly said that all truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Samima Sultana from 9B. One of my favorite scientists is Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin was born on 12 February 1809 in Shrewsbury, England. He came from a family with strong scientific background, and his grandfather Erasmus Darwin was a naturalist, poet and physicist. Young Charles showed an early interest in natural world, collecting specimens and exploring the countryside. In 1831, at the age of 22, Darwin embarked on the 5-year voyage on the HMS Beagle as a naturalist. Most famous work of Darwin, On the Origin of Species, was published on 1859. In it, he introduced the theory of evolution by natural selection. This theory proposed that species evolve over time through a process of adaptation through their environments. His theory provided a unique framework to the diversity of life on Earth and a cornerstone of modern biology. He received many honors and awards for his scientific contributions. He was a remarkable and inspirable scientist. He passed away on 19th April 1882 on London. Thank you.